Welcome back, Retro Gamers, to video 18 in the series Destiny of an Emperor playthrough. You'll remember that the last video ended literally in a bang. We were able to defeat Quan, the second of the rebels who had been claiming to be the Emperor of China. But just as we defeated him, he got bounced and we got bounced by an unknown assailant. At least he had been unknown until that point. Sima Yi was his name, and the first thing that he did was betray Sun Quan and kill him. Then he turned on us and threw a technique that we had never seen before, the thunder technique. The next thing we know, we were found knocked out beside the road by the son of Guan Yu and taken back to Jianye Castle, where we recovered. We then went on a kind of a mini quest back to Changsha Castle to talk to Guan Yu's son, and he gave us the key to defeating the Thunder Tactic. And if you recall, that was a series of keystrokes on the up-down keys. We go up, up, down, down, left, right, up, down. And I suggested at the time that you practice that several times. I have practiced it several times. Even if you use this keystroke series in the right, even if you use it at the right time and you fat finger it even a little bit, you'll get blown away by the thunder tactic again. You'll find yourself stunned by the side of the road, and you'll have to go back through the whole process. Here's a note for you, just in case that happens to you and you get knocked out by the thunder tactic again. Even though you now know the sequence of keystrokes, you must still take that little mini quest back to Changsha, talk to Guan Yu's son, and get the key from him all over again. If you don't go talk to Guan Yu's son and you come back here, even if you do everything right, you will not succeed. You'll get blown away by the thunder and you rinse and repeat. So, as many times as you get knocked out by thunder, you've got to repeat the whole sequence of going to Changsha, getting the key, and if you followed my advice, you'll practice it. Now, just between you and me, this should have been in my top 10 tricks for Destiny of an Emperor, that short video series. So this is one, if you've made it this far, you get that extra 11th trick, because this will keep you bouncing for a while until you follow the correct sequence. And I'm going to show you that correct sequence. I'll describe it right now, and then of course we'll demonstrate it when we hit the portal of the castle and Sima Yi bounces back. Now, the only good thing about having been bounced back and having to come all this way again is that you didn't have to defeat a huge force at Hefei Fortress, and you didn't have to defeat any forces here at these barricades, and you didn't have to fight Sun Quan. So all of that has already been done for us, which means we showed up here at again at Runan Castle with all of our tactical points still available to us, and an extra few elixir Ds as well. Now, I took the liberty before I started the video of taking the long march between Jianye Castle and Runan Castle so that you wouldn't have to go through that. There were a couple of things that happened on the way. We climbed another level, that's the good news, and we ran into a whole boatload of warlords. Two of them had the Ensha tactic in their playbook, and we were able to recruit both of those warlords into our battle group. Now, that was just a matter of practicality to keep them from running up against us again and again in the game. By the time we get to a headquarters and might be able to pull them into our battle group, our Tiger battle group members will probably have outstripped them as far as number of soldiers and power is concerned. But at least these two generals will be sitting in our reserve instead of lying in wait by the roadside somewhere along the way to bounce us and to use that end shot tactic against us. And it cost us a horse, it cost us our steed, and it cost us a few thousand gold coins, but it's money that we can well afford. We'll replace the steed as soon as we get the chance to do that. But here we are at Runan Castle, ready to go up against Sima Yi again. The way we're going to do this is we'll hit the portal. Sima Yi will come up and he will deliver his one line, something about, "You cannot stand against my thunder attack." And you'll see that little white arrow in the dialogue box that shows that he's finished with his dialogue. You have to hit the Z or the X key to advance into the next dialogue box, but you don't wait for him to say anything. As soon as you hit the X or the Z key to advance, then you do the arrow sequence: up, up, down, down, left, right, up, down. So you're going to hit the portal. Sima Yi will say, "You can't stand against the thunder attack." And you're going to hit the Z key to advance into the next dialogue box, and then immediately follow that with the up, up, down, down, left, right, up, down. And hopefully, if we time it right, the thunder attack will fail, and then we're going to have to fight Sima Yi with our regular tactics and armaments. Okay, that's a lot of talking. But as I said, this probably should have been in one of my top 10 videos, and you get it first time here just by your patience of getting up into this 18th video for the playthrough. Here we go. Here's his dialogue: "You can't stand against my thunder." We hit the X key and then we up, up, down, down, left, right, up, down. And his thunder failed. Coolio. Then brute force will suffice. And we go into a standard battle array against Sima Yi and his minions, and they still get first shot at us, which doesn't seem quite fair. But, hey, that's the game. And Sima Yi has got a very powerful water attack, obviously. So let's see again what Sima Yi brings to the table. Strength of 180, intelligence of 250, smarter than anybody we've got. He's also got one Fu. He doesn't have Ansha, which is good, but you can see how powerful he is with the rest of his tactics. He's got 40,000 soldiers. So we are going to have to do some specialty work here to take him down. Zhu Shu is nothing but strength. Dian Wei is nothing but strength. And we're going to have to take their hit while we deal with Sima Yi. And I think the only way to deal with him is using the tactical sequences that we have been successful with in the past. So we battle the first round and use some Beijis wherever we can, but Jiang Wei, and we hope that Jiang Wei gets the first shot, and he's going to use Sei Mian, and then we've got to pray that our Sei Mian lasts long enough to take Sima Yi off the board. And Guan Jing, we are going to let him use a tactic as well. And let's do another Beiji and give it to Zhao Yun. And then Ma Chao will just do a standard. Okay, there goes Sei Mian. that will stop any more of that water attack by Sima Yi. But you can see that we are already in a little bit of a compromised position by that water attack that he hit us with at the outset. And now we've got two powerful soldiers here who have the Beiji, so they can use the power pill. Since our Seimian is still in effect, we can do another Beiji for Guanjing, and believe, if Jiangwei got the first shot this time, that Guanjing's power pill will also be powerful, and then Ma Chao will just do another hit against him. Okay, so far so good. We've got 3 of our soldiers with the Beiji. Actually, yep, there he goes. And they're taking 5,000 casualties, or inflicting 5,000 casualties each time. Now this time, the Seimian is worn off. So we're hoping again that Jiang Wei gets to go first. If not, and Sima Yi does Ji Mian against us, we're going to lose these power pills that we have arrayed against him. And we hit the Seimian, and this time we are going to let Guanjing do the Beiji for Ma Chao. So all 4 of our weapons people will have the Beiji, but we're not sure that that's going to happen first, so we'll just let Ma Chao do another battle this time. And good, so far we've been able to keep that Seimian, which keeps Sima Yi from doing a Wan Fu and just restoring his full power. And this is going to be really ticklish now because the Seimian wore off. And this is where the rubber meets the road. If Sima Yi can do Wan Fu before our Seimian takes effect, we're going to be fighting back. We'll get thrown back quite a ways. So let's just hope that that Seimian is going to be effective and that we can take Sima Yi off the board in this battle round. So far, so good. There it is. It looks like we are successful. I know, don't count your chickens before they hatch, but there it is. We just took Sima Yi off the board, routed him, as they would say. And now we've got Zhu Shu and Dian Wei to deal with. Remember, they are nothing but muscle at this point. So now I doubt that we're going to be able to repurchase our power pills, and we'd like to keep a few of them in reserve. So, and we're close enough that to victory here, I think that we can just conserve our power pills now. But the one tactic that we will use is to restore ourselves. This seems like a good interim place to do that. And if luck keeps our way, and it looks like we've got plenty of power even without the power pills, and once the Zhu Shu has gone by the board and we don't need Seimian anymore, let's just gang up on Zhu Shu, get him off the board, and then we can do an all-out against Dian Wei. And there aren't enough battle rounds, I think, left for these 2 enemies to be able to put any of our generals in danger of being routed. So, everything worked exactly as we had hoped. Very lucky for us. Remember the timing that I explained, And now Sima Yi's got something to say. Obviously, we didn't kill him, but he did run away. So, and we got almost 30,000 experience points and a boatload of gold coins and rations. So, good news for us, advancing another skill level, and we're up near the 20,000s for our battle group. Let's see what Runan has to offer us. First of all, let's see if this is the inn. Let's replenish ourselves. Now you may notice here that I'm going to slip over to my nifty-difty gaming aid to take a look at Runan Castle and what it offers us, because we've got a weapons upgrade that we can do here. And specifically, I think we've already got plate mail. Yes. And we've got lances for everybody who doesn't have the swords, if I recall correctly. Yes. So we get to trade our iron helmets for steel helmets. Unfortunately, there are no power pills here, but we'll be able to refresh our store of elixir Ds, so that's a good thing. Iron helmets, by the way, or steel helmets, are 40,000 gold coins apiece. But fortunately, we've got over 200,000 gold coins, so that's a good deal. And just for your information, steel helmets are the top of the line. There will be no more helmet upgrades for the rest of the game. Oh, yeah, we got to find the weapons dealer. Just happens to be right here. And there they are, the steel helmets. And that severely diminishes our stock of gold coins, but I don't think we have any worries about that for the moment. Unless we get a super duper general who wants more than 80,000 gold coins for him to join us. And that has not been my experience in playing the game, so I think we're in good shape. And now the next thing that we want to do is consolidate our remaining power pills. So let's pass Ma Chao's power pills back up to Zhang Bao. I think he used all of his. And let's take Jiang Wei's power pill, 2 power pills, and pass them to Zhao Yun. And I think Guanjing is going to have 1 power pill, So Zhang Bao will have 2, and Zhao Yun will have 2, and Guanjing will have 1. So they are well distributed among the powerful generals who have swords. And we are going to now replenish our elixir Ds, because we are about to start into another one of those long treks. The next 2 locations are the Wei Caves, Wei Cave 1 and Wei Cave 2. We've got to make our way through those caves to hit the next castle and the next enemy. And you can bet that those caves are going to be chock-a-block with really nasty warlords. So we're going to refill. I think we didn't use any of Zhu Jilang's. Apparently we did. Oh, that elixir D that we were able to put into Zhu Jiliang's sack was because we used the horse. We're going to throw an extra D into our fighting generals' knapsacks if we have to resell them later to make room for the power pills, so be it. But I think we're going to need every extra D that we can get. And the next thing we're going to do is check the gull wing list. And sure enough, this castle is on the gull wing list. So that changes everything. I should have thought of this beforehand. We are going to then take a gull wing and head to Changsha Castle and replenish our power pills and replenish our steed. But there are no steeds at Changsha Castle. So we got to do a double gull wing transaction here. We take the gull wing and we take ourselves all the way back to Zhuzhou Castle. Quick quiz before I answer the question, what are we purchasing at the merchant? We're going to purchase a steed and a gull wing. But Zhu Jilang can't carry it because we filled him up with D's. So let's just give it to Ma Chao for right now. And now we've got to take a gull wing to a place that has power pills, like, for example, Changsha Castle. And what are we purchasing at Changsha Castle? We're going to buy ourselves a gull wing. And just double checking that Runan Castle, when we get back there, does have gull wings. So we'll only want one gull wing this time, but I'm going to sell that extra D. And then I'm going to sell the extra D's that I just purchased before I was smart enough to check that whole gull wing capability. Now it's a roll of the dice here, and you might want to do it differently and go lighter on the power pills and heavier on the Elixir Ds when you see the kind of obstacles that we're going to experience in the Runan caves, the way caves, that is. And we're just going to fill up the knapsacks as we cascade down our battle group. And you may get a little tired of all of this housekeeping, but in the middle of the campaign for Way, believe me, this is just as important as the type of tactics you use during a battle, because you're going to need all of your resources to get through the Way caves. Okay. And with the housekeeping being done, oh yes, we need a go wing. And back to Runan Castle. Now, there's a little trick here. It's not all that subtle. First thing that we're going to do, of course, is purchase a gull wing from the merchant. And the question is, where is the Way Cave? Because there is no normal entrance to the Way Caves. And I can't remember whether one of the characters talks to you about this or not, but you see a little gap in the mountains there? That is the hidden entrance to Way Cave 1. And so, with all of our resources intact and all of our knapsacks full, we jump into Way Cave. And it is a 4-level cave. So we've got a ways to go. We've got more lava. We've got all kinds of stuff. But in the Way Cave, we are going to find at least one other of the 5 swordsmith swords. Cao Ang has nothing we care about, so let's just do the all-out against him. Now, truth be known, I could have gone also to a headquarters while we were jumping around and maybe substituted one of those Ansha generals for one of our tigers for a while. And that might have been a smart technique to use. I'll just mention it. Mistake on my part, perhaps. And you can choose to do that kind of thing when you are at the helm. And this guy has Wan Fu, but he doesn't have Ansha, so we're just going to do the all-out against him. And later on, when we do hit another headquarters, we'll take a look at our reserve group, and I'll show you the 2 Ansha generals and what they might have added or not to our battle group. Now, one thing you'll notice, and it's time to bring it up, that when you're in a cave, no matter how many of these warlords you are fighting, you will never, and I may stand corrected, but they will never have any rations for you to capture. When you're in a cave, you've got to subsist on the rations that you have. Now, if you take a look at the box up to the top right, you see that we've got 723,000 rations. And for right now, that's going to be good enough. But we're going to start keeping our eye on the rations, because as our soldier count climbs, ration consumption is going to climb. And somewhere along the line, we're going to find ourselves in a spot that we haven't been in for the entire game to this point, and that is that we're going to need to start purchasing rations. Just a word to the wise, little foreshadowing there. We're not quite there yet, but it's coming soon. Because as we climb these next few levels, the soldier count is going to climb significantly. And I'm just referring to my nifty-difty gaming aid to help me make it through the maze of these tunnels. So we're in the second level of the tunnel now. And it's very easy to get lost in these things. And if you get lost, the result is that you end up fighting a lot more warlords than you otherwise would, a lot more rebel groups, etc. So it's going to cost you a lot more resources. And believe me, we're going to need the resources that we've got. Wei Zhu, nothing but lots of soldiers and some strength. Qin Jiao is smart, but not all that smart. So we're going to try the all-out against these guys. Nothing special that should cause us a problem. We are keeping our finger, however, on the X button just in case. But it looks like we're going to do pretty well against these guys. It's probably time to check our soldier count and see if we need to consume any of our elixirs. Nope, we're in very, very good shape for the moment. Our rations are down to just a little over 700,000. That's not too bad. And to the next level, and if you noticed it over there to the east, sure enough, we've got another lava pit. And this one looks like it's a little bit more extensive than the others. Remember, at least what I've found is the more of those bubbles you can run over, the less the lava affects you. Let's just take a look at two of our generals here. And let's see, Zhang Bao is just over 18,000. Ma Chao is 14,700. And let's see how many soldiers we lose as we go through the lava. 18,000 and 14,700. And let's see if we can hit a lot of those bubbles. Remember, we don't want to go out of our way to hit the bubbles. So from 18,000 to 14,000, we lost 4,000 of Zhang Bao's warriors walking through the lava. And from 14,700 to 11,600, so that's 3,100 out of Ma Chao's soldier group. So you can see the casualty level that is caused by the lava. And we might as well right now replenish with our elixirs, because we got to go back through. So Zhang Bao is going to need one. Zhao Yun. Yep, even Zhang Wei. Quan Jing, I'm just doing that 4,500 plus whatever they've got. And I don't want to overdo, but it looks like all of them need an elixir. Okay, so a lot of our generals now are right up close to their full capacity. So this is a good thing to have, and we've got 3 treasure chests here. Now we are past the point of needing to despoil these tunnels and bring all their treasures and sell them at another place. What we're interested in is upgrading our weaponry or our equipment wherever we can. And these particular treasure chests hold one item that we need, and it's right here. One Sheng obtained, and Wan Sheng is another one of the swords. Now, it's not as powerful as some of them. We've got 3 swords that will be ranked at 240 striking power, but Bo Yi and Wan Sheng are only rated at 190. So Wan Sheng will go to the least strong general, to the next general on the list. And, Zhang Bao, Zhao Yun, Guan Jing have those swords. So this next one goes to Ma Chao. So we'll pass his lance to Wan Zhang. And I think the sword fell into the knapsack of Wan Zhang. So we'll take Wan Sheng and pass that to Ma Chao. And equip him with it. And so now our 4 fighting generals, as opposed to the, of course, fighting tactician, have swords now. So our striking power is significantly increased. This is the good news. Now, what else is there in this cave that we need? And the answer is nuttin'. There are some other treasure chests, but they all have items that are outmoded. With the one exception, there is a power pill to be had. But between you and me, the path to that power pill is probably more expensive in soldier casualties than that power pill is worth. So we're going to forget about that. We're going to come back across the lava, trying to hit as many of these bubbles as we can. And take a look at the casualties again. We're down 6 from Zhang Bao. So Zhang Bao, Zhao Yun, not Jiang Wei yet. Yes, actually. Jiang Wei, looks like we lost about 4,500 soldiers out of each of these groups. Guan Jing and Ma Chao being the exception. So we need 3 more elixirs. And just like that, we've just gone through 8 of our spare elixirs, and we're going to get out of town. The only question is, do we need to go back or do we want to go forward? And at this point, we want to go forward and see how far we can get through Wei Cave 2 with the resources that we have left. So we've got to plot our course. And I'm just looking at my nifty gaming aid to find the exit and to find how to get there. Okay, we're going north. And the good news with these little rebel forces, they do get in our way a little bit, but they cause us very few casualties and continue to increase our experience and our gold coins. So the trade-off that we can easily accept at this point. The real danger, of course, is the large group of warlords if we run into one of those. And back upstairs, and back upstairs. And back up to level 1. And we've made it through Way Cave 1. Notice Runan Castle on the other side of the mountains there. So that is the labyrinth that we negotiated to get through Way Cave 1. And a little ways down the road is going to be Way Cave 2. And there it is, Way Cave 2. And back to the nifty Difty gaming aid to help us through this set of labyrinths. Also, well, this one's only 3 levels, but it's bigger than the other one. So on we go. And in this cave, we've got a couple of, there are actually 11 treasure chests. There are 2 that we must visit. One of them holds the 5th of the swords from the old sword maker. So we'll have all 5. The other one, Jangan, nothing that we need to fear. We'll do the all-out against him. The other one holds an even more powerful weapon, the halberd, that is actually 10 points stronger than our strongest sword, so a 250 striking power. So we definitely want that on our side. Another one of the Jia brothers, and he's got nothing that we need to worry about. So we'll let him go and move on down the road. Mao Ji, nothing but a bunch of soldiers. Notice no rations. Yang Zhu, he's got Wan Fu and a very intelligent score, and the other one is not as smart, but we'll do the all-out against these guys as well. And we can tolerate a Wan Fu or 2 when we're fighting these warlords. Obviously, he's using some significant tactics on us, but you'll notice that while our soldier count is going down, we're not taking any really heavy hits. And sure enough, there is Yang Zhu using his Wan Fu. Restored himself fully. but it looks like he was only able to do it once. Let's take a look at our group. Wow, we have taken significant casualties. So, Zhang Bao Zhao Yun, Guan Jing, Ma Chao, everybody but Jiang Wei. So all of a sudden, we are in our second reserve knapsack. And this is the reason we had that little talk about rolling the dice between elixirs and power pills. And admittedly, at this point, it looks like I may have chosen the wrong side of that equation. Should have had another elixir D in each one of the fighting generals' knapsacks as opposed to an extra power pill. Of course, we'll use those power pills when we need to. And Zhu Zhu has nothing to fear. And we are still in the first level of this cave. Jia Hao Mao we have seen before, and he's nothing to worry about. Another one of the Jia brothers. Between the cows and the Jias, they must have a dozen warlords. And just a few of them are of any significance. All right, here we are at our first decision tree. And the first thing that we are going to do is head, remember we always head for the weapons first. And you can see the treasure chest over there in its own little box, and we've got to go up and down, or down and up, to get there. And now, given that I know what is in here, I'm going to take Jiang Wei's lance and pass it down to Wan Zhang, and I'm going to take Guan Jing's sword, Bo Yi, and pass it to Jiang Wei. And equip him with it, of course. Then I'm going to take Zhang Bao's sword, Nu Long, one of the power swords. I'm going to pass that to Guan Jing to replace his less powerful sword. And equip him with it. And then I'm going to open the treasure chest. Halberd. And that is the ultimate weapon for the game. Sixth or seventh gen weapon, I'm not even sure what we'll call it, but that is the top weapon of the game, and we've got our top general with it. So we've got our top 4 generals with the most powerful weapons. And now let's take a look at some of these other treasure chests. There is an extra elixir D that I'm going to take a little detour to pick up. It may be costly in battle, but it's always a roll of the dice. And that's this one right here. And we just grab it and go. The other treasure chests had outdated weaponry in them. So we're just going to leave them where they are. We could pick them up, sell them in another place, but we're beyond the need for that at this level of the game. We're getting all the gold coins we need from the warlords and the rebels that we are defeating along the way. And now we've got a decision to make also. And we're going to go for the final of the 5th swords. Quan. And that is, I just kind of footed it because that is another one of the power swords. And we're going to take Ma Chao's Wan Shang, which is less powerful, and pass it to Wan Zhang. And we are going to look in Zhu Liang's knapsack. Sure enough, that's where Queen Guan landed. And we're going to pass that to Ma Chao. And now, just in case and for grins, we are going to arm Wan Zhang with Wan Shang. Now, he's in the trailer. He's not going to be fighting. But just in case, we need a quick switch out from one of our fighting generals maybe gets routed, and we can just put Wan Zhang in there in the breach. And let's take a look at these two guys. Jia Hao Yuan, another one of the Zhao brothers. Nothing we need fear from him. Wei Zhu's got lots of soldiers, but not much else. So we're going to do the all-out against them with our more powerful weaponry now. We've got Zhang Bao with the halberd. We've got our three other power generals with the power swords, and Zhang Wei is now also wielding a sword, one of the ones that's rated at 190. And we've advanced a skill level. Everything is going our way right now. Keeping in mind, however, that our resource of elixir Ds is flagging just a little bit, and hopefully we'll be able to get to the one other item here that we want. Hao Chang, mediocre at best. We'll take him on with the all-out. And another one of the Cow brothers. Nothing to swing from the trees about. Not even a lot of soldiers. So we're not too worried about him. And here is the one other chest that's of interest to us. We got a power pill. And I'm going to trade Zhu Liang the elixir D for the power pill. Now we have a decision to make. we could press on to the exit and try to move up the trail to our next objective. But we are short on elixirs at this point, and we've got to make a decision whether we're going to actually make it to our next objective without a boatload more of elixir Ds, and I'm going to decide to press on forward. The alternative is to gull wing back, hit a headquarters, finally end up at Runan, and be ready for the next video. But here's the deal. Our next objective is Qinlu Fortress. And if we can defeat the warlords at Qinlu Fortress, the next time we come through the tunnels, we should have an easier time of making it to the next castle, which is Qin Castle. So it's just a little ways up the river, over the woods, and back to the west. But in our way is Cao Ang, nothing much. Cao Ren, nothing much. And Zhang Gan, nothing much. Let's do the all-outs. This is obviously going to cost us a couple of Ds, but keeping in mind that we actually have a pretty good store of power pills that we can use, and we still have all of our tactics, all of our tactical points. So we're going to let all these guys go. And we've got two more. Chen Quan, 228 with Wan Fu. We've fought him before. Wan Shang is just strong. So we got another all out here with our finger on the X trigger just in case. So our objective right now is to get to the fortress, defeat the warlords there, and then we can gull wing back to do our housekeeping. And this one has really cost us. So we've got to use one of our elixir Ds just in case for Zhang Bao. And you can see they are ganging up on Zhang Bao, and they've also got, he's got the attack your friend tactical spell on him. So he is actually doing us dirty. And they're trying to take him off the board in the meantime. Remember, he's got the most powerful weapon. But I think at this point, we're victorious over these guys. It's just a question of finishing them off. And now they're doing the Jimian against us. Let's just see. All right. We are going to have to use at least one of our tactics, and maybe more, to get rid of Qin Quan. Okay, we'll go about halfway with him, and then we'll stop. All right. And now we're going to do the battle and the Seimian to keep him from doing Wan Fu again. And I'm only questioning, well, the other thing that we want to do is we need a restorative. So Jinjian and Seimian, and the rest we should be able, depending on how long the Seimian lasts, and he's got us under Jimian. So this guy really did a number on us. It's going to cost us some resources to get ourselves back into position. And the the Gemion is still in effect. So all we've got is defense. And just for grins, I'm going to try some fire against him and see if that does any good. Not too, yep, sure enough, it failed. And the Samion has failed, and the Gemion is still in effect. So we are in a little bit of a hurting position here. You'll notice with the defense, though, his weapons attack are not doing much. And now we've got a chance to take him off the board. So let's use our Samion again and see if we can blow him away. Now, these are tactical points that we aren't going to be able to use when we get to the fortress, but we'll just have to deal with that when we get there. And Samion is still in effect, so Quan is toast. And if we're offered him, we'll take him into our battle group reserve, but no, they don't even offer. And let's take a look at where we are now, significantly diminished. So we're going to need another restorative tactic and then probably some more, half of our remaining elixir Ds to even give us a chance at this next fortress. Let's get to the fortress first and then worry about that. Okay, here we are at the fortress. It's a double-gated affair, and I think the best thing that we can do at this point is to take our Ds right now. Let's see who needs them the most. Obviously, Zhang Bao and Zhao Yun. Guan Jing, our power generals. No surprise there. Let's give them the elixir Ds that Zhu Ji Liang has. I was just remembering we had used one of Jiang Wei's elixir Ds at another time. I'm going to take his power pills. Oh, we've got all of our power pills still in our knapsacks. That's a very good deal. And I'm going to give Zhang Bao's elixir to Jiang Wei. And take one of Jiang Wei's power pills to Zhang Bao. So we'd lots rather have Jiang Wei administering elixir Ds, and we'd lots rather have Zhang Bao delivering blows of his mighty halberd. And Zhao Yun's got 1 D. Guan Jing has 2. We'll give another one of those to Jiang Wei. And give Jiang Wei's power pill to Guan Jing. And Ma Chao now has a powerful sword, and he's got 2 elixir Ds. So I think we are in about the best configuration that we can be for this barricade. So let's hit the first barricade and see how we do. Then we can decide whether we're going to hit the second barricade or take a gold wing out of here. New Gene, just one guy, and he's got not much. We're going to do an all-out. Now, by rights, we really should minimize our casualties at this point, but the difference isn't going to be that much, and it would take us several battle rounds to whittle New Gene down. So that's given us a little bit of confidence. Hopefully it's not false confidence to hit that second barricade. And let's see if we need to use our elixirs now. And the answer is we're going to spread the wealth of the elixirs. Can't remember who I gave that elixir to. It was to Zhang Bao, and I'm going to use 2 of Jiang Wei's elixirs. One for Zhao Yun and one for Jiang Wei himself. Let's take a look at Guan Jing and Ma Chao. Guan Jing definitely, both of them are in need. So go ahead and use Guan Jing's last remaining elixir. And keeping in mind that in my hip pocket is the restorative tactic if we need it in the middle of the battle. I'm just going to pass Ma Chao's elixir. Might as well go ahead and do this to Jiang Wei. Now, just making sure none of our fighting generals have an elixir. We want them using their swords and halberd. Jiang Wei has 2, and those are the only 2 in our knapsacks anymore. So this is going to be a little bit of a critical battle. Should be interesting to see who's in that second barricade. Okay, this is a guy, it's Sima Yi, of all people. Remember, he was the one with the thunder attack. And he is a power to behold. He doesn't have Ansha, but he does have Wan Fu. So our tactic against him is to get him down to about halfway before we use a Seimian on him. Yang Zhu also has Wan Fu. We're not as worried about him as the other one. But Jian Gan has nothing that we're really concerned about. So we are going to do an all-out to begin with, hold our Seimian in abeyance, and see how far we can get. Actually, I guess if I were smart, I would do it a little differently. We want to use those power pills to maximum effect. And so we're going to start out, I think, with the power pill cascade that we've been doing all along. So we're going to let Zhao Yun do a Beiji for Zhang Bao. We're going to let Jiang Wei do a Seimian. And this is going to be very ticklish. And Guan Jing, we're going to do a Beiji for Zhao Yun. And Ma Chao even is going to get into the Beiji act this time, so oh no, Seimian takes 17 points. So we're going to have to save those last points. To hold off Sima Yi's Wan Fu. So we might have bitten off more than we can chew here, and we're just going to have to see how it goes. And hope that the Seimian lasts for a while. And all these power pills from Guanjing and Ma Chao will not benefit from the Beiji. But we've got to use them against Sima Yi if we have any expectation of all of winning this battle. And we're not going to be able to use any restorative tactics either. So we've got the 2 elixir Ds from Jiang Wei, and those are the only restoratives that we have in our bag. So we are in difficult circumstances here, right at the edge of our resources and our capability. And our only hope is that we can take Sima Yi off the board and maybe even do some, and there it is, the Seimian is no longer valid. So we've got to hope that that last Seimian will hold and that we get it before Sima Yi can do a Wan Fu. And if he does the Wan Fu, we are probably dead meat. And he did it. And we are dead meat. Because our only hope is to get him off the board. And we've used most of our resources, but to get him off the board before he can Wan Fu a second time. And the Seimian is out again, so we are just going to play our last cards. You always play every card in your vest. Now, there is a tactic, actually. I'm going to do the restorative on Jiang Wei because he is the lowest right now. There is a tactic that would let us retreat. But, of course, we don't have any tactical points left, so all we've got now is a couple of power pills and some muscle. To try to take these guys off the board. And I'm not too optimistic about this, and the only good news is that this will be the first time in this series of videos that we have been routed as a battle group. We've lost some of our generals before, but our battle group has never been defeated, and you'll get to see what happens when the battle group gets defeated. Putting the best face on things. This is not looking good at this particular time. And our only hope is that Sima Yi is out of tactical points as we are. And between you and me, that doesn't happen very often. One more power pill. Just checking everybody's knapsack to make sure. See how close we can get to finishing this thing off. We took Sima Yi out. There is hope for us. Not a lot, because we've still got 2 tacticians and they are obviously whipping up on us. So they've got Zhang Bao and Zhao Yun out of commission right now. The best we can do is an all-out and hope that we can whittle them down before they whittle us down. And I hate to say it, but this is looking good now. Remember, Yang Zhu has, sure enough, there's his Wan Fu, but now he is fighting all by himself. And with a little bit of luck, we can take him out before he takes us out. Ha! Oh no! Liu Bei's army has conquered Sima Yi again. 29,000 experience points. And we got rations. We're not in the caves anymore, so our food supply is back up over 700,000 rations. And we've advanced a skill level. This is as good as we could have hoped. And let's just do a quick lap around the tents. But since we've got the highest generation weapons in our knapsacks already, armed with everything that is strongest, I don't think we're going to find anything in any of these chamber pots, but we're going to look nevertheless. Hope springs eternal. And I must re-emphasize again that we did about as well as we could expect in this exchange. So it always pays to play every card in your vest, particularly when you've got no retreat. And nothing but misery and Wei since Cao Cao died. There was one of these guys that I wanted to talk to who gives us a warning. Sima Yi has 2 strong sons. And so our next encounter with Sima Yi is going to be a memorable one. Meanwhile, we are out of resources of all kinds. We got no more D, we've got 0 tactical points. It's time to beat a hasty gull wing retreat. So I'll tell you what I'll do, and then we'll call the end of the video, and we'll come back again in video 19, having done all the housekeeping. We'll go back to a place that we can... I was just looking to make sure we had a steed, so we're going to go to a headquarters, look through the reserves, and see if there's anybody worth adding at this late stage of our development. And we are going to replenish our power pills and replenish our elixirs, and then we are going to have to come back to Runan Castle and get all the way through the caves. And the only good news is that we're not going to have this monumental fight that we had at Qinlu Fortress. We'll be able to go directly and assault Qin Castle. And Qin Castle is the last castle that we have not seen. Spoiler alert, we've got to make it back to the capital, Luoyang, and Qin Castle is the gateway to Luoyang. So we are that close to victory in the game, but there are some huge obstacles that remain in our pathway. So look forward to that next video. And please comment, question, rumor, innuendo, impressions, suggestions, insights, anything that you have, put them in the comments. Like, subscribe, do all those other free things on my channel, Emperor Tricks, and I'll respond in kind. And thank you for watching. Happy gaming.